Hi. So this is just a vent. Um, I'm going crazy right now because I'm getting pressure from every direction. Um, Got to get this room painted. I'm busy making brooms in every free second I have. Brooms and wands um, to sell at the Renaissance Festival, which I was accepted to, and they got a new coordinator or whatever for vendors, and they're being very slow for everyone with information and paperwork and what needs to be turned in by when, and definitely not newbie friendly. Um, so I've been also working my ass off dog training, accepting more than I usually do, so I would have enough money to do this in case I don't sell anything. I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be something that if I walk away without selling enough stuff that I'm in debt and I hated it. I want it to be a fun thing. And last year, they said go ahead and use last year's application. We don't have one for this year, so use last year's. And so I'm just doing one Columbus Day weekend, and it's 3 days. And in 21, as I'm reading the paper, said for a 3 day weekend, it was 175 for that 10 by 10 spot. Because I'm going to have a tent. I'm not big enough to have a booth yet. And so I thought, well, it will probably be more. That's what happens. Things increase in price. Um, and so I'm like squirreling away every penny that I earn, and yeah, and I think I have enough to like have to spare. And I find out today that now it is actually 150 a day, and so like I have say 550, and it's gonna be 500. Well, about 500 just for the spot, and I have to pay for insurance, the license, which is 60. And like I thought I might have to use my credit card for something, but I just got the thing paid off, and I have other stuff that paying off and feeling really good about that. And then I have this, and then I have this freaking what I cannot live without is this diet that I have to be on. Um, is very expensive. Um, just finding non gluten stuff is terrible, and it's very expensive. Lactose free, um, fructose free. It's very expensive. Um, so, like, the only sweet I get is from fruit, which is really expensive, especially now. And so I'm just, I got really overwhelmed today because the coordinator sent this email with some instructions, but they weren't her instructions. She was basically forwarding an email from somebody who sent her an email from the city that the event takes place. And the language was they have to, then they, them. I'm going, I don't understand. I don't get it. Who's they? Who's them? And it finally dawned on me that she wasn't talking in the email. She was just forwarding. I'm like, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do a job. You get the email from the government body that, you know, is in charge of licensing people to sell stuff. And then you go to your people and say, okay, I talked to so and so, and this is what you're going to need to get and turn in. And so even like people that are veterans, I am finding out from a Facebook page or group that everybody was expecting a sticker shock. And I'm like, yeah, it was a shock. And I asked even, why so much more than last year? And she said, well, if you want to just do 2 days, you can, and it'll only be $300. But I have been, see, when I get something in my mind and it's a plan, I don't like to alter it, or I get even more stressed. And I'm like, well, I'd probably stick with the 3 because that was my plan. And so she said that it was costing more because they're now doing background checks on people. I don't know what happened with the previous coordinator, but apparently it was like bad. I don't know what she did, but anyway, everyone, do you really mean everyone? Background checks. And then there was like this paranoid part of me that was thinking, they're making this more difficult for me on purpose because they didn't really want to let me sell there. Like, so, there's always, in every situation, I always have that insecurity lurking around. You know, anytime something good is happening, even if it's hard, you know, this person really doesn't like me. They really don't want to be around me. They just felt obligated to ask me, you know, that kind of thinking. And I did realize that some of my environment was not as tidy as I usually have it, and that was causing stress, making everything. Anyway, so I'm trying to read these instructions and understand what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And I keep asking my mom for reassurance, and I'm like, I can't tell if she's being honest or just like saying, I think this TV's broken. That's next to me. And I'm like, I wish I had other people in my life to ask about. I mean, I put pictures of them on my Facebook and people say stuff, but oh, that's so pretty. Those are really expensive, and you know, and but I doubt people's motivations, this one make me feel nice. Because, I mean, how many times does somebody show you something and you say, oh, wow, that's really good, and you're just saying it because you want them to feel good and you don't know how to say anything negative about it because it's someone you care about. So I have slowed down a little bit with the dog training. I haven't been doing any advertising because I just feel like I need to just stick with the clients I have right now to decrease stress. And the less stress I have, the better See, I've always had trouble with reading comprehension. Anytime we had to take a test, even when I was a kid, those state tests to see how the school program for the state is doing. Those state tests. And they would give you a paragraph or something, and it would tell a little story or whatever, and then it would ask you questions about it. And I could never finish them in time. I would do really well on the test until it came to that because I couldn't finish because I would have to go back and find in the paragraph the answer rather than remembering it from what I read. But it's not like that when I read books and stuff. It's just when there's a lot of specifics. I don't know. Detail. I don't know. I don't know what I can read fine in a book, but on those tests, it would be like, so Jennifer did what after Ryan said, and I'm like, and I would read a lot. I read slower than other people. My mom drives me crazy. If she has the remote, she's just like zipping through stuff trying to find something to watch. I'm like, you have to slow down. I haven't finished reading what that show was about. But then she took a speed reading course, and she said that she doesn't read every word, and I guess maybe that's the difference. But anyway, if you take that I read slowly and don't retain well, when I do read books, sometimes depending on, like, I can read Harry Potter through. That's not a problem. Anna Karenina, I have to reread sometimes certain paragraphs and break it down. I have to leave out parts. The same with all the other classics, Forster and James and stuff. I have to completely cut out parts of it and leave only this. But I do diagramming sentences like a savant. It's because to me it's more mathematical than anything. Anyway, I'm getting off track. I'm reading these emails and I am not retaining anything. And what made it worse was the ECT I had many years ago. That pushed it to a point where I get angry and frustrated and irritable and would sometimes throw stuff, slam stuff, yell at people because there's information and I'm not understanding it. And I'm upset because other people are apparently don't have a problem. And I'm like, I don't understand. I can't go to the next sentence because I didn't understand the first. I don't even know what they're talking about. And so I finally just I and I don't I have on occasion slightly fibbed, not really though, that I had a brain injury, and so instead of saying I had ECT, I'm not going to go around the world and say that. So I just say brain injury, which was true. And after what was new after that was trouble counting money, um, doing time, like how long something's going to take, what time it will be if we leave here now, that kind of looking into the future time. And money, like you gave me a 20 and the thing was 11.50. I have trouble with that. And time, money, directions are, I need a Garmin, or second best is just people try to give me too much information. I'm like, right at stop, right at barn, left at big bent tree, at this highway 46. I don't like a lot of people try to say, well, I live is 2 blocks from the First Baptist Church with, that red shed. I have no idea what they're talking about. I know that there's a First Baptist Church, and I know it's in my town, and I know I go by it all the time, but I can't take what they're saying and make sense of it in my head. Okay, so I'm trying to read these emails, and I'm getting angry and frustrated. And so I just went upstairs and shut the door and took a Xanax. And I felt better. I actually accomplished something. Found out what a federal tax ID is and how to get one. So I wanted, I sent an email to her. I was just like trying to be really nice, like, this for a newbie, this is kind of confusing. What would really help is if you could just list what I need to do first, then second, and that would help me a lot. Thank you for your help and patience. I didn't say brain injury. I was tempted to, but I don't want to use it as something like to make people feel sorry for me, like I don't know. Because technically I did have one. In fact, I had more than one. How many did I have? I think I had 6 ECT things as one full prescribed. Anyway, so at least that's how, as far as I'm concerned, that's what it was. That's what it ended up being. But it was really hard. And it's still really hard because I still have these things pressing in on me: dog training, broom making, money, and understanding things I'm not familiar with. Um, to do something I think I would enjoy, I'm not enjoying it yet. But I'm like, it's one of those things that, damn it, I'm gonna do it. I started it, I thought it out, I planned it, I'm following through with it. The same thing was with the dog training, and that was a success. So, um, but I am just completely exhausted from just the pressure weighing down on me, and I'm trying to think of something that will just refresh me. I'm going Friday. I have a friend who started doing some private yoga. She's a yoga teacher. She used to do groups, but when COVID came, she didn't stopped. And you have to bring your vaccination card, or she only does like a couple people at a time. And I'm doing that Friday, so I've done yoga before. I'm hoping it will help with my stress and and balance, and some upper arm strength I need. Some, yeah, in that from my tremor. So, and she's only asking for donation to pay like $5 to $10, and I feel bad because she's my friend, and I am only gonna give her 5. So I hope that's a good thing. Um, anyway, that's my rant. My dog's getting impatient. I have to go to bed. It's late. I'm tired. I'm just tired from stress. Oh, I forgot another stressor. I went out to St. Louis and I had to be with family. I kind of went out there just because I wanted to see and talk to my brother, who his ashes are in Jefferson Barracks, because he was a Marine, and I just felt the need to talk to him some, and it was really kind of cool because what you do is his urn is in a thing, and there's a whole bunch, and there's an edge, and if you visit, you put a penny on there. If you were in boot camp together, you put a nickel, and if you served together, you put a dime. And his little ledge had more pennies, nickels, and dimes than any other one there. So a lot of people are going to see him, which makes me feel better. Anyway, I was at dinner with an aunt and uncle, and my aunt just let slip that my mom told her that I'm never home, and that money's tight, and that I should, you know, convince my mom to I don't know, she sews a lot and stuff and sell it. And so now I have a guilt trip. I can't say to my mom, I'm not here because I'm training every second I can to make money for the Renaissance Festival. And the rest of the time I'm making the brooms and wands. So I don't have any time for myself, much less anybody else right now. It's just temporary. Um, And if it weren't for me working, we wouldn't be able to take care of our dogs the way we do. They're old, they got issues. So, I don't know. I started squeezing in some things to make her feel like I was more present. Um, I just I just did not need that at all. Okay, so now I'm done. I gotta go. This has gone on too long. Good night.